What's going on, YouTube? Claic Yuzolt back again with another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius video, and today we have a lot to go over, a letter from the producer, and big global upgrades to all of our favorite Festa unit design units that really change the way you guys can play with those. They are big, they're not tiny. So first off, let's get into this letter from the producer. You guys can see this in the official in-game news, or it is on the Facebook and other social media outlets for Brave Exvius. So essentially, we have a letter from the producer here. I would like to take the opportunity to answer question 4 from the 3rd anniversary live event. Unfortunately, we had no time because of time constraints and already scheduled programming. So again, like I said, it wasn't because they were trying to avoid it. Obviously, they're still even doing it now, talking about it. It was just because of time. However, with the kind of outrage from the community and the different people talking about it via Reddit and etc., hopefully my video helped as well. We have a different response than what we received at the the live stream event. Answer: we are planning to implement a system in August which rewards players based on rank and number of days logged in, so that players can be rewarded for the time they have loyally dedicated to playing our game. However, the system implemented in the global version will not be identical to the system in the Japanese version, since as stated previously, the Japanese global versions are managed separately, so they're different games. They always say that. That said, we do strive to operate the global version as efficiently as possible, while also incorporating the strengths of the Japanese version, which is kind of a new thing they've been saying, where they want to take the best of the Japanese version and put it in global. And honestly, it used to be a meme, but now with the changes they're doing, the different things they've done around this anniversary, the future of FFBE is looking much more bright on the global side than the JP side. It's just how I feel. We would like to motivate our players to actively play the game in order to raise their ranks as much as possible and gain various rewards based on their player rank and total logins planned for August. So this is going to be coming to you guys in August after the FanFest, after July ends, after the big anniversary. In the meantime, we would also like to remind everyone to enjoy our special campaigns in July, such as the 3rd anniversary tickets, login bonuses daily, and 3rd anniversary summons, and half the energy campaign. Once the details on the above have been decided, we will take announcements in-game on our official FFBE accounts on various social network services. Please look forward to it. Thank you for continued support of FFBE, Hiroki Fujimoto. So this is amazing. So I don't even care what it is, honestly, at this point. The fact that they acknowledged the community, they said, hey, you guys are right, we didn't treat the veteran players correctly. Even if we don't get those anniversary tickets, because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to limit us on UOCs. That was a big problem in JP. So just give us something else. I think a lot of us would just like, normal tickets, or, it doesn't have to be that same anniversary ticket to get those UOCs. So I'm very excited about this. I hope you guys are too. It's awesome. Big changes there. Very interesting. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the changes for all of these different upgrades. They're free. They're already upgraded. Right now in game, you go into the game, your unit's going to be upgraded to what has been changed here. And let's talk about how good they actually are. All right, guys, now after that great letter from the producer, which is going to be incredible, we get to talk about something else that's crazy that came from the 3rd anniversary, which are these free upgrades to a lot of these units. We get our first batch now and our next batch in August. I'm not going to go into too much detail of these changes. You guys can look over them, learn how you want to use the unit, etc. You guys come on my stream, we can talk about it. But I just want to give my general over thoughts of what has been changed with them and where they kind of sit in the meta and the rankings, and, if they did them justice in doing so. I do want to point out that a lot of these TMRs and STMRs have been changed as well, so you want to make sure you take note of that. And this should already be in the game. All of these changes should be in the game. You don't have to spend any money. You don't got to pull any more units. You don't have to what am I trying to say? You don't spend any enhancement crest. You don't spend any gil. This is already done. It's like a free upgrade, and it spells really good for the future of Glow. I mean, Global's already looking extremely bright. Like, from all these changes from the anniversary and the way the game's going to change in the content and them doing this, it just looks incredibly bright for the future. And they could be doing a lot of this for a lot of other TMRs or maybe other units down the line. It looks like they want to stick it to global exclusive for right now, but they could change that as we go on, right? It doesn't have to only be these 2 batches. So first up is going to be Beryl. I think that with these changes, Beryl becomes a little bit more relevant in the meta. He was still there, though. Like, magic covered tanks are always going to be able to do their thing when they need to be. I think Beryl's still a little clunky with his kit, a little bit hard to use, but they definitely changed that up by giving him these W cast, especially with this one not having to be activated from heaven mode or whatever. I remember that being a little bit of a trouble. He gets a lot of modifier increases. He gets some of his breaks increase, some of his mitigation, some stat stick boosting up, but they also increase a lot of his counter ability. So it looks like he may be going in and countering a lot, and maybe that's where you want to use him over maybe some of the other magic cover tanks. But at the same time, the other magic cover tanks do a lot of the same things he's trying to do. except for easier, in my opinion, or they provide more. So while I think Beryl is a strong magic cover tank, and there's no reason to just denounce Beryl that easily, nothing incredible here to just throw him to the top. Now, of course, I could be entirely wrong. Maybe I'm just not too happy with having to work through his kit. It's just a little bit too much of a pain, especially for a tank unit. So maybe you guys will come out and prove me wrong on this, but I think that Beryl is very good and needed this upgrade. Obviously, comes back into the meta a bit, but with magic cover tanks, essentially, as long as they can magic cover, they pretty much got your back in most cases. Anyway, so moving on down to Ellesperis. Ellesperis is getting huge damage changes, chaining changes, going to bolting strike, a lot of damage modifiers up, getting the ability to triple cast, W cast, all abilities. And this is going to go down for a lot of these different damage dealers. Along with that, Ellesperis, before I get into where I think she is in the damage categories after all of this, her Amdaharu Katana, which I think is the name of it, became Amdaharu Plus, which is the TMR. It used to be a two-handed katana, or one-handed katana, and it was okay, right? It was like, you know, it would have been really great if it was two-handed. You know, she was stuck using it because of her TMR ability needing to be unlocked, but it did have some killer abilities, etc. That has been changed now to a two-handed katana, and as long as you had Ellesperis before this patch that just went through, so can't get it now, but there should be an Amdaharu Plus just already in your inbox. If not, you guys are going to be able to go down and do a mission. It should be in the advanced quest, I do believe is what they said in the patch notes, and get the Amdaharu Plus recipe. And then from there, you just take Amdaharu. If you end up getting Ellesperis down the road, you get Amdaharu and you craft it and you make the Amdaharu Plus. I'm not really sure. A lot of these units got these upgrades and they didn't have to do this recipe stuff with their TMRs and STMRs. So I'm unsure why Ellesperis is different, or Ellesperis is different. But, you know, maybe there's something in the coding I don't understand. Going from a one-handed to two-handed weapon, maybe there's something different there that's why they have to do it. Unsure. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments below and I can learn something from you. But overall, again, her kit, they looks like they're moving away from Divine Ruination, which I say that and here in a minute, Mouth's going to prove me wrong. But Bolting Strike is here and strong. Again, we're going to be using Dark and Ice with Ellesperis here to be able to do damage. And just general increases across the board. See, things like this. Barrier duration increased from 3 to 5 turns. Great. 2000 HP, 80 MP restore. Great. But as far as she's concerned on the damage tier, she is going to definitely be meta. You guys are going to be able to use her if you would like. I think she's going to be able to output the same amount of damage as, you know, somebody like Red 13. She's going to be up there. She's not going to be top tier. Like, I don't think she's as good as Esther or as Zeno or as Regina, but she's definitely not booty tier either. She's not like mid tier. She's like mid to high tier. I'd put a high tier as Zeno, Esther, and Regina, and then units coming out. And for this to be happening to a lot of people out there who maybe missed out on those units, already had Ellesperis from pulling, really liked her. Here you go. Here's boop, boop, boop. Here's a great unit that's already been upgraded for you, and you guys can use her, which is going to be incredible. So those are my thoughts on her. Moving on down to Mouth. Mouth is getting a lot of upgrades, just like everybody else, getting a lot of modifiers increased, getting the ability to W cast all abilities. A lot of things changing for her as far as a hybrid damage dealing unit. One of the things that they did change is they changed these abilities to chain with Divine Ruination, and then changed some of these other abilities to stop chaining with Divine Ruination and chain with Bolting Strike. Really unsure on that. Maybe everything should have been Bolting Strike. Maybe you guys felt different. For me, it seems like Divine Ruination is running out of time, like running out of... You'll even see it in changes coming down the road here in a minute with what I talk about with other units. So it seems... I feel like those should have been Bolting Strike. Maybe I'm just... Maybe I'm just being a little bit too sad about that. But as far as Mouth is concerned, she is going to be doing the top damage dealing for hybrid units, I do believe, in the game right now after she gets these upgrades. Along with, you know, she could do pretty well against other kind of damage dealers. She's not going to be doing anything crazy when compared to everybody, but hybrid damage dealer, she's on top until, I'm pretty sure, when the new CG global exclusive unit comes out later this month, she will probably reign supreme, because if she doesn't, that's going to be a problem for sales. But yeah, so that's going to be my thoughts on Mouth. Again, if you guys love Mouth's one of your favorite units, you do not have to feel sad at all about going in there and chaining. We do have Bolting Strike Dark hybrid damage here. That's going to really work well with Ellesperis, which is going to be great for you. So really, you don't even have to do anything. You guys if you guys already 7-star these units, already leveled them up, they're just that much better. Go out and test them out. You're going to like them a lot. They're going to be doing a lot more than what they did for you before. Circe here is actually going to be, I would say, the second biggest upgrade. And I am going to probably be a little biased, but I'm not sure. You guys will have to let me know. I think that Circe is going to be the top damage dealing mage in the game right now with all these changes. Insane amounts of different kinds of chaining that they can do. Chains with Chaos Wave now, chains with Bolting Strike, chains with Absolute Zero, just so many different things that Circe can do. When Circe first was released, nobody really, well, there were people that cared, but nobody really went hard or was like, I love Circe so much, super high damage dealer, right? It was more like, pretty cool. Circe is pretty cool. But after this, it's over. Like, Circe has turned into a unit that can just totally destroy a lot of things, a lot of content, and it can actually destroy a lot of the magic damage dealers in the meta right now. It's actually absolutely insane they did something like this, making Circe one of the top damage dealing magics just for free. It's just like, hey guys, here you go. Let's upgrade this unit. We didn't do a good job of designing it in the first place, and we want to make sure they stay meta. So this is going to be incredible for you guys out there that want to be using Circe, and definitely try Circe out. I think these are great changes. Moving on down, this is going to be the one that I think is the best change out of all of them. And you guys know that I do have a little bit of soft spot in my heart for Myra, but I thought Myra was in the top 3 healers in the game already. I think the top 3 healers would have been something like Aerith, Myra, and Folka. Really depending, I might be leaving somebody out by accident. I don't mean to, but those are going to be my top 3. After this, Myra's number 1, 100%. People on the Folka side of things may disagree with me. Aerith obviously covers a little bit of different things going on, but Myra is going to cover almost everything you need in a healer for a long time to come. Okay, so we have a couple of active changes here. Harmony also cures Charm for all allies, so Charm's going to be getting out of there with Harmony. Intro has been changed. So Intro used to do this thing with Myra where you'd be like intro, what was it? Album cover, and then you would go into the middle of the playlist, which I'm actually unsure which one that was again. It might have been interlude. Yeah, it was interlude, I guess. And then we went to outro, and then you would go outro, intro, and then etc. So you'd have to do outro, intro on the same turn. Things have changed now for Myra. They've actually added another one. So now it's going to be intro, interlude, main verse, outro, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But intro has been changed substantially. Increased in power level on her first ability she cast. It also increases defense and spirit. Before it did not. Stat buffs increased from 70 to 100%. Stat buff duration decreased from 5 turns to 4 turns. So where instead of going 70% attack and magic, you are now getting attack, defense, magic, and spirit buffed by 100% on her first intro move. She also increases LB fill rate by 100% for all allies and heals off this first move, which is incredible. The one thing they did take away from this is attack and magic break resistance. Behind the scenes, no longer raises, but is a cast of a re-raise. This can also be W cast. So now you can be going in there and just casting re-raise on people with Myra, which was another problem I found with her while I was playing. She did have a cooldown ability, but that wouldn't work with her playlist W cast ability, and it just was kind of clunky. But now behind the scenes is there. If you want to cast a re-raise on somebody, you go ahead. Myra's going to be able to do that. Fighting got some modifier increases. I don't think it's really going to be that big of a deal. It was changed to Bolting Strike instead of Divine Ruination Chaining, and the barrier was increased by 1,000. So essentially, this was the move you would cast when you would cast Interlude. And you know, there's always another thing you could be casting, right? So like you start with intro, then you cast album cover. Those are the first 2 moves, and then you would go from maybe either For You and interlude, or interlude and fighting to get that barrier up. Now it's going to be even a bigger barrier of 1,000, and it, you know, a little bit of a damage increase here, but I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. Moving on down, album cover no longer increases silence resist. Also increases paralyze, which is big. So before she was missing out on paralyze. Paralyze was her one thing that Folka players had over her, in my opinion. You know, if it came down to it where the boss really needed to, you know, was going to imperil your paralyze resist and then, you know, then cast paralyze, you know, Myra was going to be in trouble. You were going to either need to use a Lakshmi or something like that. Myra doesn't need that anymore. Myra covers all of the incredibly difficult to deal with things now in her album cover, which is absolutely insane. Also increases paralyze and attack and magic break resist by 100%. There are other moves that are going to cover the other different status elements as well. Decrease from 5 turns to 4 turns, and the mana cost goes up, but I will definitely take that. So again, you lost this attack and magic break on intro, but you're going to gain that back with album cover along with the paralyze resist, which is amazing. Another thing, playlist added grant W cast to all abilities. That means you don't, apparently this isn't in the TMR ability anymore. You guys just get this. You don't have her TMR, you don't have to have her STMR on. She just has playlist in her kit, which is awesome. I know a lot of people out there wanted that. Live Concert no longer regen refresh, but now grants HP barrier 2000, which is going to be her one of her cooldown abilities. Roaring Crowd, fire and light resist decreased from 100 to 75. Damage mitigation increased from 20 to 30%. Duration increased from 2 to 3 turns. No longer grants resist to status effects and charms. Now increases LB gauge by 4 to all allies. Cooldown decreased from 5 to 3 turns. Can be used on turn 1. So these two abilities right here were her 2 cooldown abilities. And you couldn't really use them as Myra. In my opinion, it was like a uh-oh button and you would smack it because you really needed to get her singing. You need to be using playlists going back and forth. Now they are able to be cast with playlist. That's what it says, grant W cast to all abilities. You can actually put them in there. So Life Concert used to give you a regen and a refresh. It doesn't anymore. It gives you an HP barrier, but it also puts AoE re-raise on everyone, all right? And then we do see a decrease in this 100% to fire and light resist, but I will take that for the rest of the stuff that happened and went on here. We also got status effects and charms or whatever taken off here, but that's added somewhere else. We get 4 LB up. I know I'm going in really deep detail on Myra, but I just want to make you guys understand that, and I'm not trying to diss any of these other units, but damage dealers are going to be dime a dozen. You use who you want. I gave you where they are in the meta. You guys can get in there and use them up. Obviously, they're going to be great. Beryl aside, he's not a damage dealer. Well, I guess he could be with the countering. But looking down at Myra, this is a unit that could really be on your team forever. Like that's why I want to go in so much detail to make you guys understand how good your Myra is now, okay? So, and then Piercing Voice, Defense, and Spirit Break increased from 65 to 70 and no longer heals. And we're going to actually be able to put that in with our WCast as well. Guys, this is a huge change just on that. Like, just on this alone. As you can see, her kit just flows better now. You can cast a re-raise on a single target. You can now cast her Live Concert on everybody to give everybody... you could do that in the beginning. You could go intro into Live Concert, give everybody immediately an HP barrier along with the re-raise. And it's something you couldn't do before, which is absolutely crazy. Looking at our passives, we have Increase the Spirit by 10%. No longer enables playlist. That's costume change. Now playlist is just part of our kit without needing a TMR or STMR. Myra's Legacy, Spirit Boost increased to 40%. Also increases HP by 10%. LB Gauge increase decreased from 2 to 1. Autocast skill to start a battle being revived. Increase LB Gauge of all allies by 1. So it looks like at the start of the battle or after being revived, she's just going to put everybody's LB Gauge up by 1, which is okay, cool. It's not too crazy, but maybe it really helps out in the end. We'll have to wait and see. Conditional. Interlude. Buffs increased from 100 to 120%. So Interlude used to just buff everything by 100%. Let's put that up to 120% now. Also increases LB Gauge by 2 for all allies. Myra has now become also an LB buffer enabler, not just by being able to put up your LB fill rate, as you can see from intro, but she's actually giving everybody these LB ups. So I guess they are adding up slowly as we go through. Enables main verse, which is a whole new ability instead of outro. Main verse increases all stats by 160% for 1 turn. Heal 1,505 times all allies, so it's going to be a heal right there. LB Gauge of all allies up by 4. Enables outro, okay? So there's another LB up, like just popping it off, dude. Just putting our LBs up. Looking down at outro, HP barrier increased from 1,500 to 2,000. Great, it's 500 more, HP value we can get even at full health. MP recovery increased from 100 to 120. Great. Also heals a big amount now, which it didn't before, to all allies. And increases LB Gauge of caster by 20. Duration increased from 2 to 3 turns to 4 turns. So it used to be that outro, literally you would cast it, and then you would have to be able to cast it the next turn or your buffs would be gone. It's similar to this main verse here. Essentially, this big buff right here is for the turn that you're going to use it. And the monster is going to go, and then this big buff is going to be gone, but you're going to get another 120. Or excuse me, sorry, you're going to be able to get your buff from outro. I thought that was the 120 right here, but it's not. That's just for the MP recovery. But you're going to be able to get your buff from outro there going. So it looks like she's going to be casting outro. When she casts outro, you're going to want to cast intro. So you're still going to want to do that so you can start getting your moves going back together. Full life added revive one party member to 100%. Dispelga added remove all status effects from all enemies, which is great to have that. We need that. We 100% need that. We don't really need full life because she has an ability she can W cast that heals everybody, gives everybody full life, and you kind of want to always be W casting so you can be casting intro, interlude, main verse, or outro. Overall, guys, I can't state this enough. I think that Myra is the top tier healer. Lena, when she comes out with the CG Bard's banner, is going to rival her. probably be beating her in a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean that you absolutely have to go for Lena. I think that Myra is definitely going to hold down the fort. These LB increases are absolutely insane, incredible. They plugged the hole of her paralyzed resist needing to be there. They actually made this seem like it flows a little bit easier. Just great stuff. And yeah, so overall, these changes are freaking bonkers, dude. I tried my best to explain them. I know, and we're not going to go over Charlotte until it's Charlotte's banner. I know I kind of skipped over a lot of these. These are damage dealers. A lot of the things they do, they were already doing. They've just enhanced them. You know what I mean? They've made them stronger in that way. And I told you where I think they stand on the damage dealing places. But Myra, my God, I think is the best one. Again, biased is in here. But yeah, Gumi and Square Enix keep doing stuff like this. This is incredible. This helps everybody out. Go out there and have fun with these units. Let me know in the comments below how they're pulling out for you and how they're doing for you. And if you, you know, if you're having fun with them, because I can't wait for the next batch now. I mean, after all these changes, I can't wait for the next one. I'll leave a link to this, to these unit changes in the description below as well. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below who your favorite changes out of all of them and why it definitely is Myra. And then subscribe for future content. We'll catch you guys in the next video.